Let's start with the schematic editor. So click on the schematic editor box. I'm just going to use up all of the available space here, and we've got a blank schematic editor window. Now, one thing that I want to remind you here is that I'm using a Logitech mouse that looks like this. This is one of the pages from the book. Just it's easy for me to show you this picture. So I'm using this mouse here. The most important feature for this particular mouse is the scroll wheel, which is also a button. So I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And also when I press it down, I can pan the viewport of the editor so I can move things around, navigate and point to the things that I want to zoom into or out of. You don't need to use a Logitech mouse, of course. Typically, any mouse that has a clickable scroll wheel will actually be suitable for the purposes of a CAD application like KiCad. So that's something to keep in mind when you see me doing things like that. Just know that I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Just a short interruption to let you know that this video is part of my comprehensive KiCad course that will teach you every aspect of creating printed circuit boards with KiCad from scratch. Go to the course page to learn more about it if you want. Find the link to the course page in the description below and treat yourself with a discount coupon for my YouTube viewers. Okay, let's continue with the video. Another thing to show you here is just a basic configuration as the setup for my preferences for KiCad and the schematic editor in particular. So I'm typically going to be using the default settings. I haven't made any changes. The only modification that I've made here is to add a few custom grids, and to calculate and set those grids, I tend to start from the 2.54 value, and then I either use multiples. In this case, I haven't used any multiples, but typically I use factors of 2.54. So if we can see here, 1.270 and 0.635. These are factors of 2.54. And then here, the grid overrides. This is a new feature in KiCad 8 that I've started using a lot. Typically to replace the previous fast grid switching. I don't use fast grid switching that much anymore. So I've set specific sizes for the grid so that when I choose one of the tools here that are covered by these grid overrides, then the appropriate grid size is automatically selected without me having to press a button or do anything manually to select that grid. So you can see that for wires, want a bit more control, I've set a grid of 0.315. You can use one of the others. Maybe here I should probably go for this one here. I'll change it. I'll go for 0.635. For text, 1.270. For graphics, I'm also going to go for the factor of 0.635. And connected items, that's fine as it is, 1.270. We'll see. I might come back later and change it. But I'm going to start with these grid sizes for the overrides right now. And just remember, this is going to be a simple project with a few components, so you can go for large grids and it's going to be not a problem at all. In projects where you have more components and more things happening, more wiring, for example, more labels and more of everything, you will need to go for smaller grids to make sure that you've got more precision in how you arrange and connect everything. So that's the grid overrides. For the colors, I go for a white background. I think it looks better. And that's it with the preferences. So let's click OK. So you can see down here, there's always the grid. Just remember when I use the tools, when I use one of those tools to do, for example, let's close this, to do some drawing, the grid down the bottom will not change because this grid shows you what the manually selected grid size is. So just remember that this grid value down the bottom indicates the manually selected grid, not the grid override value that you're currently using. Here on the left side, you can turn the grids on and off. I tend to have these grids on when I'm placing objects on the canvas, just to help me align things a little better. Also, speaking of grid overrides, remember that there is this button here that allows you to enable or to disable the grid override. So right here, when you can see there is a light background on this button, this grid override now is enabled, which means that the grid sizes that I have chosen for my grid overrides will be applied when a particular grid override tool is chosen. If you want to turn that off and just use manual grid size selections, then make sure that the background on this button is clear. There's no background. So I'm going to turn it back to on again. You can also select the value that you want, through inches, mils, or millimeters. You can see the value down here. It's millimeters right now. You can go for mils or inches. I'll be working with millimeters. And this button here allows you to change the cursor to make it full width and height. You can see the lines that come out of the pointy end of the cursor extend across the entire width and height. Again, personal preference here. I'm going to go with the shorter crosshairs. When it comes to the grid, you can see that I've enabled the grid. You can also control the grid characteristics. So back to preferences, you can go to display options, and you can see that you can change between things such as dots and lines or small crosses. We can increase the thickness. You can increase or decrease the minimum spacing, and of course snap to grid or not. You can say always or never, or when the grid is shown. I tend to always go with snap to grid because this prevents problems later on when items on the sheet are not properly aligned, especially pins, which makes it then difficult to connect things together. So if I go for these absurd values, you can see that it looks like this. You can zoom in, you get a new set of crosses as you go past a certain zoom level, and you can zoom out all the way to the size of the sheet. So I prefer lines. I prefer thinner grids. Let's go to 1, and I think that a spacing of about 10 or 15 is good. So I'm going to go for that. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go 1 below. Let's go for 0.5 thickness and 10 pixels. All right, that's better. That's back to where we were earlier. One last thing to point out here, these 3 buttons which dictate the styling of your wires. So for example, notice that I've selected the middle button here, which in this line mode, your wires will have 90-degree angles as you change direction. You can also go for this free drawing style, or line mode, where you can create lines in any angle, which I believe result in terrible looking schematics. And this third option here allow you to do 45-degree angles. For schematics, I prefer to go for the middle option, the 90-degree option only. So let's select all that and hit the delete key and clean it up. And there's one more thing that I want to do here before we go to the next lecture to drop the symbols onto the sheet, and that is to configure the page. So I'm just going to add some information here in these fields. So let's get the date, the revision, the title, project 1, LED torch, and fill in as much information as you like. I'll leave it at that. That's pretty good. Click OK, and here is the project information in the design editor label. Okay, let's save and continue with the next lecture where we'll add the symbols onto the drawing sheet.